Let's turn our focus back to the UK, and more specifically to our economy. Here, we have already seen some disruption since the referendum results, and we can expect more. That's why Mark Carney, the Governor of the Bank of England, acted decisively last week, cutting interest rates by a further 25 basis points to 0.25%, expanding the bank's quantitative easing programme, and introducing a new funding scheme for banks. That action is welcome and necessary. But it's important to remember that the fundamentals of the British economy have not changed. The UK has been and always will be a trading nation. And our overseas partners are guaranteed a strong, business-friendly environment. Last year, the World Economic Forum ranked us first among the major economies in terms of ease of doing business. London will remain a world-leading financial hub, and our creative and entrepreneurial spirit will continue to generate a wealth of opportunities for our trading partners. Just last week, we saw a great example, both of London's status as a leading global financial centre and our capacity for innovation, with the listing on the London Stock Exchange of the world's first masala, or rupee-denominated bond issued outside of India. That bond raised the equivalent of about 650 million New Zealand dollars and was more than 4 times oversubscribed, with significant interest from Asian investors. We're a knowledge powerhouse. We have 4 of the world's top 10 universities, attracting the best students from around the world and producing great scientists, innovators, and entrepreneurs. A critical resource in an age when transformative ideas have never been as fundamental to our future prosperity. And we are facing this period of uncertainty from a position of economic strength. Our financial system is much more resilient than it was 6 years ago, with capital requirements for largest banks 10 times higher than before the banking crisis. The budget deficit is down from 11% of national income and forecast to be below 3% this year. There have been some initial shocks, but we can expect more, but we are well placed to weather them. Some commentators speculated that the referendum result would foreshadow a move to a more closed economy. Far from it. Britain will continue to welcome entrepreneurs who wish to invest in the UK. These entrepreneurs know that with our super-fast broadband coverage, integrated transport system, the lowest corporation tax in the G20, currently at 20% and going to go down to 17%, the UK remains one of the best places in the world to start and grow a business. And that's something that New Zealand investors have long known. What's less known is that the UK remains New Zealand's 5th largest trading partner. New Zealand exports more to the UK than to Germany, France, and Italy put together. And we are the 2nd largest investor in New Zealand, with a total capital stock of investment of over $55 billion. That's second only to Australia. Here in New Zealand, I sense that many companies and business people are already focused on the potential opportunities that Brexit might bring. So am I. Your Prime Minister has already talked about the potential for a UK-New Zealand free trade agreement, though something like that could not be completed until after the UK leaves the EU. And going back to my phrase about nothing changes, the UK and New Zealand will continue to cooperate and build further collaboration in a whole range of fields. We will remain a very strong advocate for as long as we're inside the EU for an EU-New Zealand free trade agreement. There was some concern early on about what this would mean for free movement of people, or for New Zealanders and their movement of people in the UK or in Europe. Well, again, no change there. And this gives me an opportunity just to talk briefly about some of the visa issues that have come up recently. Despite the backdrop of large immigration numbers over the last 3 or 4 years, the visa offer to New Zealand is more favourable than to any other country in the world. We grant more work visas to New Zealanders than to China, to Canada or Japan. For those of you who are 18 to 30, there's the Youth Mobility Scheme visa, which allows you to work for 2 years in the UK, doing anything you want. And for those of you who have a grandparent who was born in the UK, there is the Ancestry visa, which is a 5-year visa. So I just want to put those out there because I know there's been some reporting of this year. There are other areas where the UK and New Zealand will continue to work seamlessly together, promoting the rules-based international system which protects and promotes our values and the economic prosperity on which we all depend. Be that on the UN Security Council, working together in Afghanistan, countering threats from illegal fishing in the Antarctic, working together with other partners to tackle cyber threats. And then in a whole area of domestic policy, we work seamlessly and closely together. We are both members of the D5, a group of 5 countries who have committed to providing better and more efficient government services through digital platform. That's Israel, South Korea, Estonia, the UK and New Zealand. We gave you the source code to gov.nz. Check it out. It looks just like gov.uk. There's a reason. We borrowed your cabinet manual on how to make coalition governments. It's true. You just gave it to us. We swapped best notes on legal aid, on judicial reform, on education, on health. And there's already opportunities for more in this space. Finally, a few more things that I confidently predict won't change about the UK. First, that we make an outsized contribution to world culture, whether opera, ballet, James Corden's carpool karaoke, or Ab Fab. The UK remains a wonderful place to visit. I've recently come back from holiday there and found myself struck anew by the beauty of the countryside. I particularly recommend Cornwall. And canny travellers from this part of the world may already have worked out that a holiday in the UK is about 10% cheaper than it was 2 months ago. We will meet our challenges as a global and responsible player. The UK will be okay. And UK and New Zealand will be more than UK. Sorry, that's ruined the last line. The UK and New Zealand will be more than okay. Thank you very much.